cloud. All right. Okay, let me redo that. Welcome again to this Beyond You class. We are nearing to the end of this 2023 class, and it's super exciting. With the practicum projects coming up, I know a lot of us have questions, so I'm going to do a very quick presentation. It's really just an highlight on resilience. And then after that, we're going to jump into a Q&A session. Ask whatever is, whatever area you need clarity on regarding the course way forward, specifically about the practicum project, because I think we got a few requests about that. All right, today, I hope some people are still hopping on. Yes, they are. They're coming in. Today, I wanted us to look at resilience. At first, we were going to talk about collaboration. Remember, I promised you guys, me and Pastor Charity, we would be handling the topic of collaboration together. But today, she's caught up with another event that she is officiating. And so because she's not here, I didn't want to do collaboration by myself. It kind of doesn't really add up. So I think it makes perfect sense to talk about collaboration and actually collaborate. So we will be collaborating on the topic of the power of collaboration and share with you guys our experiences and some of the areas where we've really registered a lot of success in that with that theme of collaboration. But today I thought, you know what? I haven't taken really my time to share with you. You've heard a lot of things come out of my mouth here and there, maybe in passing, but resilience is one of the topics or one of the themes that I want to say is my life story. That's one of the themes that really, as I mature more into the things that God has called me to do, it's one of the themes that I really find is becoming, that I'm recognizing as become very prominent in my life, whether it's intentionally or not. It's just a topic, a theme that just keeps to flow through my life. And part of it has to do a lot with my background. Some of you know me, some of you have probably watched some videos, or you've gone on petrakids.org and checked me out, or somewhere on Google, I don't know, but you know my life story. You know that I grew up an orphan. My parents died when I was really, really young in Uganda, in Aduku. My dad was a preacher. My mom was a stay-home mom. And when they both passed away in the same year, by the way, it was really tough. I was very young. I think I was just starting school. And so a lot went on. We were 7 kids. A lot went on. Being the youngest in the family, you guys understand more. You're from Africa. I don't know if Cynthia is here, but you understand more what that would mean. You can imagine, you've seen it. Some of you have probably even experienced it. And so my life is built on resilience. I can definitely and confidently tell all of you here today, without a shadow of doubt, that this theme of resilience is what led me here where I am today. It is nothing else. It's hope in God, it's faith in God, but resilience, the determination of not letting go, the determination to never give up, however much things got tough. And of course, faith in God, having that foundation in God. And so I felt like, let me share with you guys just a little bit. As a mentor, I would be doing you injustice not to share a portion of that part of my story with you. Those of you who will be coming to Uganda with me, to Aduku rather, for the graduation. I don't know, Solomon, you'll share more on that, shed more light on it. But you'll see what I'm talking about. You'll be able to see and make perfect sense of what I talk about. But why resilience, though? Let me go now to my short, if I can share the screen here with you, short presentation, and I hope it will be. I need to first change the desktop here. Give me just a second. Pull this up and then see if I can get it. We talk about resilience. Here we go. All right. You can see my screen, can't you? You all see my screen, right? write something, type something on the
Yeah, we can see it.
all right, just
Yes.
make sure. Okay, so resilience is our topic for today. I didn't go far into describing resilience, but in my personal experience, and this is my own definition that I've come up with, it is a force that helps you to bounce back when calamity strikes. In a nutshell, in summary, that is resilience. When calamity strikes, when things go bad, it is the power of resilience that helps you to bounce back. That is a very shallow definition of resilience, but just so you understand why I really love this theme, is the whole thing is about being able to bounce back. Being able to bounce back. That is resilience. If you can't bounce back from whatever befell you, it means you have a little bit of a challenge with resilience. All right. I will go further into the definition at a later time, but for now, with that understanding, we can move forward. With that understanding now on the back of your mind, you know that if you have the power of resilience, you can then overcome challenges and embrace a lot of growth. Okay, so I made the topic to be resilience, overcoming challenges, and embracing growth. Let me see if I can get rid of this screen. Is on my way. There we go. That's better. Okay, so I will share with you this PowerPoint. Don't worry about taking too much notes. Jot what you can, but sometimes guys get so caught up in taking notes that they're not really listening. I want you to listen and pay attention. All right. Resilience is the key to overcoming life's challenges and emerging stronger than ever before. That's the bounce back. Okay, the key to overcoming life challenges and emerging stronger than ever before. All right. It is the ability to adapt. It's the ability to bounce back and to find the strength within ourselves to persevere no matter how tough the circumstances may be. Hallelujah. That sounds really packed, but that's what it is. The power to bounce back, the ability to adapt and to find strength within ourselves. Here is your key word, within ourselves. In other words, you don't go and garner resilience elsewhere. Again, it is within you. You have to find it within you. David says in the book of Psalms, when David came back in the Bible, when David came back from a battle, which he believed God had sent him on, and found that all his people had been killed, his wives taken captives, their children taken captives, he cried to God and he said, God, what should I do? Do I pursue them? And God told him, surely pursue, you will overtake and you will recover all. That's a promise for us. So what a better way to be talking about resilience to a group of people who actually believe in what I've just quoted from the scriptures, because then you're not believing in your own inner self. There is a bigger power inside of you. And so that is the foundation of what I want to talk about today. All right. Resilience. All right. I liken resilience to a phoenix. Okay. A phoenix is a mystical, it's a mystical bird. It doesn't really exist. It's mythical. In other words, it's supposed to be this creature that actually dies. It's a bird. It dies and then it buries himself in ashes. But when it resurrects, it comes back. It gets born again. It rises from its ashes and it's all golden and beautiful and stronger, 10 times stronger than ever. That's the phoenix. So I liken that to resilience. It's like a phoenix that's rising from the ashes. All right. Resilience is what allows us to transform adversity into opportunity, setbacks into stepping stones, and failures into valuable lessons. There are lots of examples that we can look at regarding that, real life examples, and we will look at about 1 or 2 people whom I really consider resilient, and you probably could be thinking about 1 or 2, or maybe it's even yourself. I don't know. But just think about that power to adapt and having that force that allows you to transform your adversity into opportunities. And your setbacks, you start using those setbacks as a stepping stone. All right. So the three things that I consider very vital in resilience, when practicing resilience, when you want to develop or grow your level of resilience, one is a mindset. Resilience is really a mindset. So it's not so much about finding that silver lining. No, I mean, it's about finding that silver lining, you know, it's not so much about denying it, that it's not even there. No, it's different. It's a mindset that you decide, I'm going to put on this new mindset that, yes, I can do this. I have the power within me. I may not have all the resources, but the power within me tells me that there's a solution somewhere. So I want to find a silver lining, even in the darkest of these clouds that surrounds me today. Okay, it's a type of optimism. Okay, optimism in the midst of those trying moments where you're still optimistic. You can still see some light at the end of that tunnel. Even when you don't see it physically, but inside of you, there's that hope. There's that ray of hope telling you that keep moving, okay? Keep moving, because just a few steps ahead, you will see the light. There's light at the end of the tunnel. That is the mindset that you put on as a resilient leader. Because I promise you guys, as a leader in your various capacities, you'll experience a lot of things. You've already experienced a lot of things, but I can almost assure you that that's nothing yet. Even when you step into your actual destiny and when you really think you're at your highest points, that's the moment you really have to garner even more resilience, because at that point, you're going to have lots and lots of responsibilities and lots of things coming at you. You're attracting all these external forces, okay? And that's what fame comes with. That's what growth comes with. It's our responsibilities. And so it starts to rest on your shoulders and you start to feel the weight. Things pulling you everywhere. Family, friends, okay, the world, you're being demanded in every single corner. It's the power of resilience. And it's not all that everybody who is coming your way is going to be nice and cool. No, some people are going to hit hard at you, really, with ugly stuff, okay? Ugly stuff. You guys have witnessed leaders who have really had to endure things to remain in ministry or remain doing whatever it is that they're called to do. It takes the power of resilience. Actually, I just got reminded of a man of God in Uganda. I don't know him very much personally, but I've met him a couple times whenever he visited here in the US. And that's none other than your Pastor Robert Kayanja of Is It Miracle Center. You guys know him very well. This guy went through a lot. In fact, somebody here is probably even better placed to tell me the story more than I can, because I only followed on social media. There was a time he visited here, went to Oral Roberts. This was before even all that saga of whatever happened to him, you know, the accusations and everything that took place. It was before that, guys. He came, visited my college then. This was like in 2013. Visited my college here in Tulsa, Oklahoma. It's called Oral Roberts University. You guys probably heard about that. Oral Roberts University is right in my backyard. I mean, right there, stone throw away from my house. Well, not in my backyard, but like behind my backyard. That's what I meant. He came to school to talk to us in chapel, to address the student body and encourage us and inspire us. And I was so encouraged to hear that there's another Ugandan who is actually coming to speak to the students here in the US, and he happens to be at Oral Roberts University. So I went for the chapel. I sat there. And after the service, I took a picture with him. And I posted it on Facebook with such excitement. You know, I was like, oh my God, today I met someone I would consider model. This guy, his story really strikes me. From the street to the level where God has placed him now, is going everywhere. That time he was on TBN, on a lot of, national television stations. Well, it didn't take 15 minutes after the chapel service had ended. When I posted that picture, I started getting calls. I got 3 calls from London, from UK, and then several from the US here, and even a few from Uganda, all telling me, take down that picture, Petra. You cannot identify with that guy. That guy is crooked. That guy is crooked. That guy is crooked. Take down your picture. Why are you associating yourself with him at a time when he's really about to go down? Don't take down your picture. And I'm like, what do you all mean he's about to go down? What has he done? I don't care. I listen to his word. I believe in what he's doing. Oh my God, the pressure became too much. And one of my friends whose opinion I value so much advised me, say, Petra, for the sake of no controversy, or you trying to defend so much something you don't even know, just take it down. So anyway, I had to take that picture down, but I remember coming home and crying so hard to God on my knees concerning that ministry and that gentleman. He doesn't even remember me probably because we haven't met again since then. But it was hard. But what I learned after, now looking back, I learned that resilience is the strength that kept him moving. He remained resilient even when people stoned him in the face. Okay, you guys have so many other examples. That's just one real life example that came to mind. And it's not on my presentation today, but it just came up and I thought I would share that quick testimony with you all. Okay, the second point on resilience is that you have to determine to rise above it. Write this one down. Right mindset, right? Rise above it. Rise above it. This is how Michelle Obama puts it. When people get low with you, you'll fly higher, okay? They're going low, you choose to go higher. You take the higher way, okay? That means you're not going to involve yourself in whatever is going on here because you want to rise above whatever mediocre mindset. I shared with you guys the other time how the Spirit rebuked me that do not associate with mediocrity. And sometimes if you're not resilient enough, you'll find yourself buying into things because you want so much that acceptance. You want to feel good. You want to feel like, yes, I'm valuable, I'm accepted. But trust me, resilience does not mean every time things are going to be cool and great. No, it's actually reflected most when things are really, really hard, when you're alone. That moment when you're all alone, can you come back up? And then the third one, with grace and strength. So it's not just about bouncing back up, okay? It's not just about bouncing back up, and it's not pretending that everything is fine either. No, it's about you acknowledging that pain and choosing to rise above it. When you rise above it, you're not only rising above it, but you're rising above it with grace and strength, all right? It means there's some beauty that's gonna come out of you that just exudes, and people can see you and acknowledge that there's something different about her. There's something different about him. How could he have been hit so hard and yet he affords to smile? How could she have been hit so hard, struck so hard, 7 times more, and yet still stands up and smiles? It is the grace and the strength. But the one thing is, again, as God-fearing people, we know the source. We know that doesn't really just come. It comes through prayers, through perseverance and faith, believing in the one who called you, that he is faithful to accomplish everything he has called you to do, that he's faithful to accomplish the work he has started in you. The Bible calls it the good works. He will accomplish it until the day of Jesus Christ. That's a scripture. You can look it up. But it is a promise, and it's a promise of resilience, to persevere. It's a call to perseverance. It's a call to endurance, all right? Okay, so another thing about resilience is that you must learn and grow. If all you're doing is just persevering and crying, and then you bounce back up, all right, yeah, but you haven't learned a thing or two, most likely, research tells us that you're gonna fall right back with that same thing that first of all put you down because you haven't learned a thing. So one of the key points about resilience, to stay there and to even begin to soar higher, as we've seen with the phoenix bird rising from the ashes, You gotta learn and grow. Resilience is not just about bouncing back from adversity, but it's also about learning and growing from our experiences. So this is a time where you ask yourself, what have I experienced in the past years? And then the second question you want to ask yourself after you list them down, your experiences, and we're talking about mostly adversities, calamities, setbacks, okay? What have you learned about it? What would you say about you that has changed after that experience? Whether maybe it's a broken relationship, maybe it's rejection, maybe it's loss of your job, maybe it's lots of status quo, okay, where you now in that place where you're redefining who you are, because who you thought you were is not really adding up. There's nothing to prove. People like to say there's nothing to show. And so maybe you're the one being called those names. What is it that you could possibly learn about it? That you could possibly learn and say that I have learned from this experience, and this same experience, I'm now going to use it as a stepping stone to take me where I ought to be. James 1:23, I'm going to quote, and it says, anyone who listens to the word but does not do what it says is like someone who looks at his face in a mirror and after looking at himself goes away and immediately forgets what he looks like. Resilience, you're supposed to bounce back and move forward. But if you're bouncing back and then 2 years later, you're back where you started, every time you're going back where we started, that means we have to stop and begin to look around what is exactly going on. It's time to take that internal stock and try to retrace our steps. Where are we getting it wrong? Why are we not learning? Why does the same problem keep reoccurring over and over and over? And I know I'm talking majorly to Africans today. I know we are all very spiritual people, and we believe that spirits do interfere with our destinies, and that's true. Everything is spiritual, but it begins to manifest in the physical. And so you have to retrace your steps back. I hear all kinds of stuff. The spirit of near door. Okay, when you're just so close to the door to making it, something happens and then you're set back 10 times. 10 times where you started, even worse. And every time you start a business, you fall. 10 times worse. You make all the losses possible. And then you work so hard, you bounce back up. But then not only to fall again and fall again. That means there's something going on, and the power of resilience is not really at play here. It's not activated, because when resilience is activated, the key word there is better. You come out better and stronger, ready to fly to higher dimensions. Like it says here, you don't forget what your face looks like in the mirror, because you're practicing, you have learned, and you're growing. All right. As I come to almost a closure here, I'm going to now go a little faster. Resilience to me equals to thriving in adversity. And that's all I'm trying to labor to explain. If you can thrive in the midst of your adversity, I call you a resilient leader, a resilient person. And we should call you that. But if your adversity is making you sink down and bury your head down in the sand to where you cannot think of how to get out of it and get out even better, then there's a problem that we need to deal with. All right? Okay, so resilience equals to thriving in adversity. It's that unwavering determination. And here are the values that leaders who are resilient exhibit. They are very unwavering. They are determined. They persevere, and they have the ability to rise above adversity. They leave lasting legacies that even today will continue to inspire us. So we can mention certain names, like I just thought about Joseph in the Bible, for instance. We can say that Joseph was really a resilient leader. He didn't start that way. He was all cushioned, grew up in a very well-protected environment. He was the most protected of all his brothers when you read the Bible. But then God puts him in a situation where there's no more shielding from dad and mom, right? The beautiful coat is ripped off, it's gone. And Joseph is left crying in the wilderness inside the pit because of all the conniving. You guys know the Bible. I'm preaching to the choir here, so I won't even go too deep into that. But go to the story of Joseph in Genesis and look at how Joseph began to develop resilience to enable him a step to his destiny. But how does he do it? So let's look at some of the adversities that Joseph had to endure and go through. First, there were trials, okay? There was a betrayal. His own family betrayed him. And then adversity struck, okay? The adversity that struck him was the slavery, the false accusation from the wife of Pharaoh, Potiphar. Okay, not Potiphar's wife. Was it Pharaoh's wife? Was it Pharaoh or Potiphar? Somebody help me there. Was it Potiphar's wife or Pharaoh's wife? Who accused Joseph?
Potiphar's wife.
Potiphar's wife. Thank you.
Potiphar's wife.
Thank you. Okay, so false accusation by Potiphar's wife, spent several years in prison, and yet while in prison, the Bible tells us, while in prison, God uses that very situation, very circumstance in prison as a slave, as a stepping stone to become the second most powerful guy in the country, all right? So he had to maintain a positive attitude. He interpreted Pharaoh's dreams while in prison. He could have said, you know what, I'm actually rotting in prison. What do I care about your dream, Pharaoh? I don't give it a damn. I'm not coming to interpret your dream. Why should I? But what does he do? He uses that opportunity and begins to turn things around, okay, to make it work for him, not against him. And so I want to encourage us today that whatever it is that you're going through, or whatever it is that you'll encounter in the future, I want you to remember this. Remember that you can turn it around, okay? You can turn the situation around to make it work for you. Let that bad situation serve you. It has to bow to you, not you bowing to him, not you bowing to it, all right? I don't know if adversity is a him or her, but I think it's a it, okay? All right, so maintaining that positive attitude helped Joseph to become the second most powerful guy in Egypt. He used his adversity as a stepping stone to his destiny. All right, so here's a statement I made, that life is ever changing, and those who can adapt quickly are the ones who thrive. So it doesn't mean you're not going to experience things. Things will come at you. Like I said, in fact, it's almost like the higher you go, the more that keeps coming at you. But you have to reach that level where it ceases to mean anything to you. It's like just a teeny scratch. You move on like nothing even happened. When you're just getting started along the journey, guys, it's tough. That's where all the thoughts of wanting to give up begins to come. And I'm not talking about small things. I'm talking about huge things. Let's talk about like marriage, okay? So you love this girl, you all got married, wedded, beautiful wedding, people celebrated. Now you're in it and things are not adding up. Things are really tough. And the two of you are now contemplating, can we continue together in this union? Is there a possibility? If God is telling you, this is my will for you, and you must remain in it, then this is where you begin to develop your power, your resilience power, your resilience wings, and put your feet down and say, I'll stay. For the sake of the name of God, I'll stay. But then again, I'm not saying you must stick there. It all depends. It's all depends. If God is telling you, you have to endure, which is what really should happen. And you're enduring, but it's now to the point where you could die the next day and we'll find you dead and come and bury you. No, I say no, go seek for counseling and seek God all over again. But that's just one example out there. A lot of us are not really in that bottle of marital issues, but some of us, it could be even family. Some of us, it's your job. Some of us, you're really working so hard to see this business come to fruition. But every time you try it, it never works out. Your money is just burning away. You inject a lot of money into this project, it amounts to nothing. Should you keep injecting the money there? I say keep trying. Keep trying. That's what resilience does. But as you're trying, you are learning from it. Remember, we talked about that. You're learning from it, and you're saying, okay, where am I going wrong? You're retracing your steps, and you're looking back, and you're correcting as you go. And I can promise you, as you keep doing that, you will succeed. So life is ever changing, and you must learn to adapt. You have to adapt to the changing cultures without really bowing down to any, I'm not saying bow down to demonic aspirations and stuff like that, wickedness. No, we're talking godly things here. You must learn to adapt. If it's adapting to technology, don't just stay away from it and say, no, it's evil. Everything is evil, evil, evil to you. No, we're past that. We're way more intelligent. God has given us a lot of intelligence to make the things work for us, to make the things work for the kingdom, not against the kingdom. All right. So that's what I'm trying to explain. All right. Our second and last example of a resilient leader is Nelson Mandela. I love Mandela. He's one of my heroes. I love Mandela, and I've written papers on him. I think one of my practicum papers here at ORU for my master's in leadership was actually Mandela. I read his book, The Long Walk. I read it, and I had to summarize it and do a book review and all kinds of stuff. I've read about this guy immensely. I love him for this one thing: resilience. Resilience. He never changed. The pressures never changed who he is. And this is why, again, guys, it's very important as a leader to define very strongly who you are. What are your values? I've been asking you guys this, and before graduation, I want to know you. I want to know that when I mention the name job, I can come up with one word. Like now of Mandela, I can say resilient. The moment you mention Mandela, I'll shout resilient. What is that one word that people can say about you as a leader, a value that you hold so dear that you cannot let go? And it's what really defines your course of actions as you make decisions. Okay, so a modern day exemplar of resilience is Nelson Mandela. He's the former president of South Africa. Mandela endured 27 years of prison, guys, for his anti-apartheid activism, during which he faced immense physical and psychological challenges. Those of you who've watched the documentaries, these guys were being made to break rocks with their hands, all day long, day in, day out. It was physical. It wasn't just mental torture. It wasn't just psychological torture, but also physically. The guy was wasted. Physically, he was, but he endured it. And despite those harsh conditions, documentary tells us that, and we see, experience shows us that Mandela emerged from prison with an unwavering commitment to continue the fight for freedom, for the Blacks in South Africa, for the unity to prevail, for reconciliation. He went after those things. Okay, those were his values: forgiveness, unity, reconciliation. He had to see that. And so when the guy now so may his soul continue to rest in peace, he had finished his assignment. He finished it, and finished so well. He put a stamp on it and said, I'm done. Now I can go and rest. Does it mean South Africa doesn't have issues now? Yeah, they do. But guess what? Somebody had to pave the way for them to even reach that stage of where now they can sit and the two parties can actually talk on a round table. Martin Luther King did the same here in America, to fight for the rights of the African Americans. And so today we hold him as a hero, but it costed him his life. Did he give up? No, he never gave up. So today there's a legacy. We have Martin Luther King Day because of the act, because of the determination and the resilience of such a leader. The same of Mandela. All right, so those are two examples I've given you. Martin Luther just came in, but yeah, resilience will help you determine the kind of leader you become. The kind of leader you become. So like in the case of Mandela, his resilience was evident in his ability to turn his personal suffering into a catalyst for change. I love that. His ability to change his personal suffering into a catalyst for change. Can you, as you listen to me today, when you finish this class, go down, kneel down to God and say, God, whatsoever it is that I have endured, whatsoever it is that I've had to endure, please help me Help me use that as a catalyst for change. Let it begin to bring healing to people around me. Let it begin to bring hope to those who are experiencing the same kind of thing. You have to reach out. That's how you build resilience. And that's why going now into a practicum project, that is why that project, okay? That is why that challenge as a group, because it will really help you develop character as a leader. So don't look at it as just, this is just a mere class project. No, there's a reason why. You begin to use, usually how you know that God is really helping you to step into your destiny, the things that you're going to be so passionate about, or that you are passionate about, that you want to address, those challenges are not too far from the things that bring tears into your eyes. And it's not too far from the things that causes God to weep. It breaks his heart. That is what makes you know that your purpose, your destiny is now getting intertwined with your calling, with what God is actually placing in your heart, or had placed in your heart all while ago, before you were even born. He knew it. So we're only on the path to discovery. We're not chasing after things too far away from there. There are things you've experienced. You have to look back into it. Look back and see what you've learned from it. And now see how you can begin to use it as a catalyst to bring your destiny into fruition. So people can see and know that for sure, I can attest to her life. You know, I know what she talks about. She understands what she talks about. And as I wind up, this is my last page here, no, second last. I want you to remember that resilience is not a walk alone journey. No, you gotta build a support network. Okay, you gotta have family, friends, and mentors who are crucial, very, very crucial in your times of adversity. Don't lock yourself up when you're being hit at as a leader, whether it's a leadership challenge. Reach out to another leader who probably has already walked there, and they can guide you, they can lead you. All right. And Proverbs 18:24 says, a man of many companions may come to ruin, but there's a friend who sticks closer than a brother. Today, I want to challenge you. Find that one friend who you can say, I'm going to stick closer to this one. Or this one, I'm going to stick closer to her because she understands me. She gets me. She hears me out. And you can pray together. You know, I have those friends in my life. I do. And you have to. You have to. Proverbs 17:17 says, a friend loves at all times, but a brother is born for adversity. You have that one brother who is born for adversity. They are there. They will stick with you during adversity, at the times of adversity. They will stick with you. Friends come and go, but there's that one you can almost call a brother. You're not born of water and blood. I mean, you're not born of blood, but he sticks closer than a brother who is born of blood. All right? Because God has ordained you to. It's almost like the story of David and Jonathan. That's the kind of brother that sticks closer than that's a kind of friend who sticks closer than a brother. All right? All right. So lastly, remember that life challenges are not meant to break us, but it's meant to shape us into better versions of ourselves. Somebody sent me their vision, and their vision statement is for them to become the best version of themselves. You cannot and you will not become the best version of yourself if you don't build resilience. And it's not one person, it's probably about 5 people so far. You want to become, your desire is to become the best version of yourself. So now I want you to outline, how do you become the best version of yourself? I've just given you one here. Build the power of resilience. How do you build it? It's in this presentation that I just made. So in case you missed class, go back, do it, listen to it again, go through the PowerPoints, and I pray that God will help you along the journey as you continue to build the power of resilience and to become the leader that He's calling you to be, that you may be able to reach out to more people also, because that's what it is. This is what Beyond You is all about. The life is not just about us. Our life is way bigger. We are meant for more. And so we go for more. We enlarge our territories, knowing that God has empowered us already, and we are resilient people, and we are going to see it come to pass. All right. last scripture. Isaiah 40:31 says, but those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and they will not faint. The eagle loves to soar in the storm. The eagle enjoys storm. Actually, as research says that when the eagle sees the storm coming, it's very excited. Because now then the storm, it uses the storm as a force to help it propel it even much higher. It goes much higher and just flows with that storm wherever it wants to go. And so we have to develop that level of resilience and strength of an eagle so that we can continue to fly higher and higher into higher dimensions to where the Lord wants us to go. That ends our session for today. Sorry, it went a little longer. I had actually thought I would finish in 30 minutes. Can you believe that? But nonetheless, that is it. I will now open us up for questions, Q&A. First about the presentation, any feedback, 1 or 2, and then we'll jump right into the practicum project. So I'm going to stop my screen sharing here so I can see you all. All right. Let me hear your voices. Was everyone listening or was I talking to myself? 1 or 2 feedback, 1 or 2 feedbacks. I'm reading the chat here. Some people typed something.
I was listening.
Okay. Jerry.
I have a question. Let's finish.
Okay.
Let's finish. Right. I have a question. Can I ask?
Sure, go on.
Oh, yeah. Madam Petra, thank you so much. I look up to you now. You're my coach now. I look up to you. Thank you for
humbling.
teaching us.
That's humbling.
And thank you for sacrificing yourself for us. Okay, thank you for the presentation about resilience. I have like about 3 questions, but I know you're
All
very
right, let's
fast.
go. Shoot it.
1, how do you view the relationship between resilience and personal growth? How do you review the relationship between resilience and personal growth? That is one of my questions that I've been writing down. Then the second one, how does your mindset influence your ability to bounce back from the setbacks? How does your mindset influence your ability to bounce back from the setbacks? Then the last one, this one is more of a, in what ways do you maintain a positive outlook, especially during challenging times? You talked about those moments where you're so challenged. So in which ways do you maintain a positive outlook that people are going to see you and be like, no, Joab has no problem. He's fine, especially during the challenging times. Of course, I've been going through a series of things and outside there, people have been like, hey, you guy, how are you? I wear so smart. I am always on point. I'm always keeping time. And people think that, I am working, yet recently I just resigned from work. So, and I do personal businesses. So that's one of the questions that I really, really, really wanted to ask when you started about resilience. In what ways do you maintain that positive outlook? Because there are those times where you feel like, man, but guy, things are hard, especially during this challenging moment. Thank you so much. I hope you've got them. Yeah.
Job, can you type on the chat the 3 questions? I will start with the last one because that's what I retained. But type all of them on the chat, please, so other people can follow too.
Sure. Let me type them very fast.
Yeah, I'll be very brief on them. So positive outlook. How do you maintain a positive outlook in the midst of calamities, in the midst of challenges? How do you keep motivated? Basically, how do you keep motivated to where when you come out, people don't see it all over you, right? People cannot read it all over you. In fact, as Job is saying, they may actually interpret it otherwise. Trust me, there are moments I've walked into rooms and I've been asked lots of money here in the US, and someone is like, can you please come through for this, and that. And I'm looking around and the amount being mentioned, I'm thinking, oh my God, if only I had that in my account. But then I don't go around defying it, or I've learned to become very prophetic in my walk. Okay, that's number one. What do I mean by that? I mean, when people tell me things, I don't take it as is. I don't take it on the surface. I actually read behind that. I read deeper than that, knowing that our words are so powerful. So for instance, I'm broke, right? An example, if I'm broke and then I walk into this place and a friend comes to me and they want this much money, or they may not even need anything, but the compliment they give me, it's almost like, oh my God, Petra, these days you're really making it. Ha, look at you, all right? I look wealthy, I look rich, I look powerful, right? But is that what I'm feeling on the inside? If you're to come with me in my prayer closet, no, I'm broken. I'm not only broke, but I'm broken, all right? Those two things love to go together too much, brokenness and broke. You don't have money and you're so broken and you're down, but people don't see that and they don't have to. And that's the power that resilience gives you as a leader. How do you develop that? I want to say, number one, it's experience. Experience teaches you that. It's not anything you can learn in the books, but experience will only teach you that when you become very intentional about what's going on around you. In other words, you have to be self-aware. Okay, you guys read about self-awareness in your modules. For those who have actually taken time to study those modules, it should help you a lot. Because if you're self-aware and you're emotionally aware, which is part of emotional intelligence, then you know how to handle yourself better. You know the areas where you lack. Like now, I know my emotional intelligence level tells me that, Petra, you are a very, 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 you are a very compassionate person. Very compassionate. I feel for people. I feel for people. I help them out. You tell me a problem, my next thing is I want to see how to resolve it. That's me. I'm moved by that level of compassion. But then the emotional intelligence test tells me empathy, I am not as high as compassion. There's a difference, there's a wavering there. Why? So that means I have to work on my empathy, because there's something about helping somebody. If you ask me, hey, Petra, can you get me a pen? And then I give you this pen. Out of my compassion, it's like, oh, just have it. It's okay. Not because I have another pen. It might be even the last pen I have, but I'm willing to let it go. I give it to you. That's great. But then if I give it to you and I really feel your situation and it begins to bother me, how come he can't afford even a pen? Dang, that's bad. That's a bad situation. How do I go an extra mile for the brother so that next time he's not going to be asking me for a pen? He should be able now at this stage to be able to meet the need of a pen. His need that he's reaching out for should now be a bigger item, not a pen. You guys get the analogy I'm trying to go with here. That is now me entering into empathy. I'm now beginning to walk your walk, putting myself now into your position. I've moved from just being moved by compassion. I love you so much. I don't want to see you suffer. Get it and go. But now there's that empathy where I actually come down to your level, and what is paining you begins to pain me so much. All of them has to be here. There's no one that's higher than the other. Compassion and empathy. That's an example of emotional intelligence, right? So I'm able to come out of a room and smile, even though I'd been crying the whole night about a need, about a situation. But when I stand there on the stage, people are seeing this powerful woman. They're seeing this powerful woman who seems to know it all, who seems not to have any problems. No, it's because experience has taught me better. My past, I know that in the past I went through this and I overcame. So this is not going to be an issue that now stops me. In fact, it motivates me. I like to tell people, I find myself to be motivated by pressure. I find myself to be super motivated by challenges. If you want me super excited, present me a challenge, a bigger challenge. And then I'll get so motivated. I work so hard. I work night and day. I may not even go to sleep. But when everything is flowing smooth, okay, I reach that level of status quo, and then I start getting frustrated. I'm not growing anymore. So Challenges actually helps you when you begin to change your mindset. I think your other question is about the mindset. Begin to see that challenge as an opportunity. And not just say it, but actually see it. If you still cannot see the opportunity in the challenge, pray about it again. And trust me, believe me, there is always an opportunity presented with a challenge. Your challenge of joblessness right now has a very big opportunity aligned with it. And so when you start to look at it that way, right? And your mind actually begins to revolve around it, and you start now to visualize it. And that's why I talked about the prophetic. It enables you. You prophesy to yourself. So when people come to you and tell you, hey, Job, how are you? You're not just saying, I'm great. You actually feel great. Doesn't mean there are no tears. Of course, there are tears. But your outlook on things is not tears. It's not one of tears. Your outlook out there, if it's tears of joy. It's joy because of the massive level of growth that you see yourself getting into, the massive door that's about to open. And it's not just faith. It's more than faith. You gotta put this into action. I mean, yes, it's all faith, but it's not blind faith where you're just claiming, believing. No, at Beyond You, we know better than that. You gotta put your hands on something. God, you promised to bless the works of my hands. What is it you want my hands on right now? Is it a business opportunity? I'm doing several businesses. Is there one at this opportune moment that you probably want me to venture on more than the others? Because this is like the seed that will germinate and spring out and bring all these other ones into, into existence. So the mindset, change of mindset is also a work. It's a journey. It's not a one-day thing. I still go through that every day. You have to keep reminding yourself. You have to keep reminding yourself of the positive outlook, and then so positive outlook. How does your mindset influence the ability to bounce back? Everything is, I say resilience is really a mindset. So if it is a mindset, it means it's everything. If you don't change your mindset, if you're thinking I'm finished and you're one of those, you see it like I'm finished. This situation has come to finish me. Trust me, you'll be finished. So your mindset has a lot to do with it. You got to change the way you're thinking about the situation. Again, remember we shared, it's not denying. You're not denying the situation. You're actually accepting it and embracing it, but you're denying to live in it. You're saying, I am not living here. Things must change. Tomorrow must be better. And this is how I'm going to make it better. 1, 2, 3. All right. I think in a nutshell, that is it. I don't know if that answers all, but yeah. Thank you so much for those questions. Anyone now with a question maybe regarding the practicum or still on resilience? We are out of time. It's 10:04, it's 8:04 by your time there. So we are winding up now. But yeah, questions, comments?
Thank you so much. Then back to the project. I'd posted another question, but if you get time, you can as well answer. But on the project, would love to understand more of the project. Last time we were on by the time you were saying it, it was towards the end of the meeting. So we wanted just to re-echo and we understand the question, how it is done. Yes, basically that.
Okay, so let me pick my phone in a moment so I can go to the document. I don't want to leave the screen. And walk you guys through the challenge in a second here. But your question about how does resilience manifest in a professional workplace or setting, in a minute, can someone answer that? Let me pick my Fun. Someone answer that question. How does resilience manifest?
One who is in that disco place. Answer.
Who is in a disco place?
All shining.
That's Solomon, yeah. His background is wonderful.
What was the question?
How does resilience manifest in a professional or workplace setting? In other words, how can you tell that the people in the workplace are a resilient group of people, team? Is there anything to show?
Yeah, I think that's a very good question. I think first thing is passion. Resilience could be, yeah, I'm probably pronouncing that word, but it's passion for your work, what you're doing. Of course, being there on time, being motivated, not giving up easily, showing an outward positive look towards negative situations, to be able to finish project assignment in a tight schedule. So for example, somebody may come and tell you, man, this is an emergency. This work has to be completed in 3 hours, something that takes 5 hours. You may have to skip your lunch break, basically pouring your heart 100% into the assignment, whatever you're called to do, without compromising, without, so it really, it goes, there are many factors all factored into one big ball, if I may use that item. So yeah, that's probably just to answer that shortly. Amen.
Yeah, that's powerful. That's very, very powerful. In fact, one of the ways you can tell if you have a resilient team is how further they're willing to go. They don't just take it as an assignment or that the manager's given them or that is required of them at work. They go the extra mile. They go the extra mile. In other words, the passion that Pastor Elisa talked about, it drives them beyond just doing the ordinary thing. They go way and above. And if they meet a challenge, they're not going to quit on you as a leader. You've led certain people where if they meet a challenge, all they do is complain back to you, the leader. It's always, oh, this is not working. Here is a problem. Here is a problem. They give you 100 reasons why that thing will not work. Somebody who is resilient and a leader, team leader who is resilient, will always work around it and find solutions to the challenge. That's how you know that you're building resilience and you're embracing growth. When people cease to quit just anyhow, a small misunderstanding, someone is packing their bag, they're leaving. I have some people like that in some of my teams. They're always quitting and always coming back and asking for apology. Oh, sorry, take me back again. And you're playing this yo-yo game of back and forth. That's a sign that resilience has to be built within the team to where you reach a certain point where quitting is not an option. Quitting becomes no option. It's not optional anymore. It's not even on the table. It's not being offered. It's only the way forward. That's how you know you've built a resilient team. Do we ever reach there as teams, especially with large teams? I don't know. For one, I'm still working with different teams and it keeps coming up a lot. But the more you talk about it intentionally, the more you develop the team values, the more people become resilient. They'll love what they do and they will treasure it, not just for the money, but genuinely they love it, they're passionate about it, and they want to work with you as a leader. All right. So we were going to mention briefly, we have 5 teams. I don't know if Cynthia is here today. I know she had another meeting. So the Tausa team, I don't know if Tina is here. I don't see her. But otherwise, the Ugandan team, you guys have divided yourselves into 5 different teams, right? It's A to E. And I think Solomon has asked you all to come up with your different unique names, which I love. I'm seeing the ego, I'm seeing the enlightened. It's just amazing seeing all the creativity coming up. And so I'm super excited. we are excited to see what you guys come up with. So here is the practicum challenge, and I'm going to try to explain, but it's really very self-explanatory. But for those who missed, you're to come up with a problem, to identify a problem. This problem should fall within a social entrepreneurship challenge, meaning it has to address some kind of society problem, economic problems, but it's something to do with community. It's a social issue. It could even be the whole country. There's a big issue going on, but don't bite more than you can chew, because it has to be also very realistic. The goal's gotta be realistic. That's how you'll know if you're achieving your goal or not. If it's not realistic and it's too broad, you cannot know if you've achieved it or not. So this social problem should it's addressing a real world social issue that is faced by your local communities, okay, in your different countries. As you identify the problem, so you're gonna have your theme, that's your problem, your thesis statement, how you intend to address that problem as a team. And this team can compose between 3 to 5 people. I recommend 5 because we do have some team member roles. One of those is your team leader, who is responsible for coordinating the team's efforts and decision making, all right? And then you're gonna have your researcher. This is the person who is gathering the data, the information of the chosen issue. And then you have your business planner, because this is not just a social issue you're trying to address like a nonprofit. You're also going to look at it as an entrepreneur. That's why it's an social entrepreneurship challenge, okay? Look at it from the perspective of a business setup. What business can you put in place that will address this problem? What are the values of the business? We talked about all this at the beginning, the goals as a business. Now, you have to write all that down, and then you're going to develop. The business planner is who develops a sustainable social entrepreneurship business plan. So at this point now, you guys should be at that process of developing the business plan. You should have already come up with a topic. There's too many, but get one that you're passionate about. When you start to encounter problems, like we're talking, you will not run away. You're going to find a solution for it, all right? So that's your business planner. And then you have the presenter. So the presenter, somebody else could double a role if you feel. The presenter is who is going to present your team's, to deliver your team's presentation to the team here. So from next week, I think I'll give it 3 weeks, because 5 teams with a Tausa team, that makes 6 teams. We're probably gonna do 2 teams a day. Let's see if we can, probably 2 teams a day for the next 3 Saturdays, and then we're done. So I don't know if by next Saturday we're actually going to have a group that is ready. If not, let's see how the week develops. But if we have a group or 2 that's ready, it would be perfect. Because 1 hour is not a lot. We're probably going to have to increase it to at least 1 hour and 30 minutes for those presentation days. But make your presentation very precise, straight to the point. The key things I'm looking for here, or that we're looking for here, is to make sure that it's something that you can actually implement, even right away. Okay, so it's not just some business plan that you're going to put together and pocket, put in a briefcase. No. This is not a briefcase kind of thing. This is something I'm looking forward to hearing you saying, we are launching this. Your business plan must, of course, have a budget. No budget means there's no business plan, because how you're going to achieve it. If it doesn't need money at all, still have a budget and just put maybe 000, because all the things have already been donated. Maybe it's time. It's only time you need to implement it. Put it there. What do you require to launch this? All right. And then I want to also hear, why are you very passionate about this subject? Is there probably a personal story that ties to it? What is it about this issue that is making the group decide that we want to do this? I want to hear the why. Why water? Why water problem? Why street children problem? Why trash on the streets? I want to hear, where is the connection? Because if you really... All right, he's muted. What is it? Because that is like really the power right there. That will cause you never to quit. You will always remember why. Why did I start? Why did we start? If your why is not strong enough, don't go for it. Find an issue where your why is super strong that gives you no excuse for quitting. All right. Okay. So you have your researcher, you have your presenter, you have your business planner, you have your team leader, and then you're going to have the devil's advocate. And anyone can play the devil's advocate. Remember, I told you the devil's advocate is to challenge the team's idea and to make sure that the team is thinking outside of the box. So the devil's advocate, you question why this, why that. It's not that you doubt what the team is doing, but don't overdo it to where the team gets discouraged. You're just advocating for people to think be outside of the box, because in the real world, when you present that idea before a forum or what, you're definitely going to have a devil's advocate that will challenge your way of thinking about the issue and begin to make you feel like it's worthless. What are you even doing? Trust me, in real life, you experience that. If you haven't, you will. I've experienced it even with Petra Kids Ministries. You know, there are moments where you feel like you just want to quit, and then you have that one person who is always going to come and say, this, what you're doing is worthless. Why are you wasting your time? Because of this, look at this, look at this, look at that. Now that will make you begin to think hard. It's true, there's a challenge here, there's a challenge here, there's a challenge here, but I'm not going to quit, and this is how I'm going to go around it. All right, so finally, you will conclude and prepare your presentation, and then have a reflection and an action plan. So when we meet in person, hopefully all of us will be there. We'll talk about your reflection and the action plan. What is it? What is the next move? What's the way forward? Okay. We're going to have assessments. Participants will be assessed based on the quality and creativity of your social entrepreneurship. So I want to see some creativity. We don't just copy paste, okay? You can copy paste an idea, but you cannot copy paste passion, okay? So make sure it has passion, all right? The effectiveness of the team leader's leadership skills. So make sure you're choosing a leader who is actually capable of presenting you as a team, that all of you are in agreement. The depth of research and data collection, and also effective communication during the presentation and discussion. The whole team will be grading, okay? So this is a peer kind of review kind of project. It's not just going to be me or Coach Mangesho, Coach Cynthia, Coach Charity. It's all of us. We are all going to be judges of each team, and we're going to have a survey after that. I'll send the survey way later at the end of everything. Yeah, and so all this should be accomplished. We said we were planning the practicum assignment to be due by Saturday, October the 21st. But now I'm seeing we have more groups, so I'm saying we push it back to the 14th. You guys will let me know if there's a team that's ready by the 14th. That gives you 1 week from today. Come up with the idea, put it together, prepare your presentations, do your research and everything. At this point, you're presenting the idea, all right, on Saturday. And then the implementation stage. If you're able to actually implement it right away by the time you're presenting, even the better. Implement something so it's not just a blown out idea, but I would prefer come with the idea. Let's brainstorm more in class as you present it. And then after that, go on to implementation. And then we'll do reflections. Is that clear enough?
I think that's clear for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anybody else has a question here? But I know people are getting tired. So with all these projects, you guys work full time. Some people have reached out and it's like, oh, this Beyond You has become real school. I'm like, what did you think? So anyways, I know, I understand time is of essence here. So what I would advise is Don't look for something like I was sharing. Don't look for something so way out there, like it's way out of the blue. Usually the Lord is calling you to address a problem that you already know, that you've experienced. One or two people in the group or the group leader has an idea. It's not so much out there. It's something you have even experienced as we've been talking, and God is calling you to provide a solution for that because you understand it better. So you're going to transform that into now a workable project where other people can actually buy into the idea and back you up as a team, and even possibly developers. I don't know. You know how you can ship your idea to a team of planners or funders to fund your project. I want you to look at it that way. A worthwhile project that somebody will stop everything they're doing and want to listen to your idea. So package it really good. Because after this, my prayer is that we can actually begin to work out those proposals and see what the Lord has in store. We probably could actually send out those real proposals to real funders and see if there's possibilities for grants or anything. It's not a promise. But hey, there's so many organizations that offer grants for different things. If your idea is really great, it's well polished, you've done the work, why not turn it into a grant proposal? As you do, you start small, but that should be the mindset that it's going to go big, even without the grant. We have built PKM without a grant. We don't have any serious grant that has come in, but the Lord himself has enabled people to buy into this vision. So people buy into the vision, but they also look at the leader. All right? Okay, time is far gone. It's now 10:22 or 8:22. I would want to dismiss us if there's no any further question. Are we good?